my administration will end and a new administration will begin. Most economists agree the new administration is going to inherit a fairly strong economy, at least at the moment. An economy going through fundamental transformation that's laid out a stronger foundation and a sustainable, broad-based, highly productive growth. And it's my profound hope that the new administration will preserve and build on this progress. Like most great economic developments, this one is neither red nor blue. And America's progress is everyone's progress.
Welcome to Inside the Daily Gist, December 11, 2024. On this channel, we talk about things going on in the news, things going on the internet or around the world. We bring it down here as long as we are interested in it, and we talk about it. If it's things you might be interested in as well, please do not forget to join the growing community by subscribing at the end of this video. And to all my return subscribers, I said thank you. Please do not forget to smash the like button and comment down below. Get involved in what's going on that everybody is talking about right now. And it is about Joe Biden legacy. Yeah. Everybody talking about Joe Biden legacy, that how is legacy going to be? Y'all know it got just days left for him to hand over to President-elect Donald Trump. So he came out to lay out his economic legacy, and I am gonna play our Jessica Tarlov on Fox News. Y'all know that when she come with fact. How she laid out when she was throwing the question of how Joe Biden legacy going to be. This is what she got to say. Then we are gonna chit chat on the other side. Let's take a listen.
The legacy of Joe Biden will be obviously complicated by how this ended and with Kamala losing, but he oversaw the best recovery in the G7 by far and away. Inflation in this country is lower. Unemployment in this country is lower. He expanded the number of people who got access to affordable health care, Medicaid expansion. We are producing more oil than any other time in world history under Joe Biden. The stock market, it was generous of you to give it. Donald Trump is out there trying to pretend that it's because he's coming back, that's why everyone is so hyped about this. We have been hitting record after record after record under Joe Biden. And all the revisions that happened under other presidents as well. But even if you removed all of the jobs that we lost during COVID, the snapback jobs, I think is what you called them, under the Biden-Harris administration, we still got more jobs at a faster clip than we did under the Trump administration.
Y'all can hear our Jessica Tarlov, give it to her. How she breaks it down with that little time that she has. She said, even if you remove all the jobs that you got back, somebody was agreeing with her by saying, right? That even if you remove all the jobs that you got back because of COVID, that the job record is still high. You know what I mean? I love to watch The Fives, this program on Fox News, because I love this mixture of arguments. You know what I mean? And by you looking at who is arguing and look at who is listening, even if they don't say something, the way they are reacting to it, maybe by, they're rolling their eyes, whatever, you will know maybe they're agreeing with what that person is saying or not. I love this show on Fox News because they have Jessica Tarlov, and they always bring one or two, that they are going to have healthy debates. And talking of that, we are still on the legacy that they are talking about, Joe Biden legacy, that how is it going to play out? Y'all remember that Joe Biden gave pardon to his son, and we get a lot of backlash on that. Some were for it, some were against it. And y'all heard what Jessica Tarlov said. Joe Biden, he didn't lose the election. Kamala Harris lost the election, but they are still on the same ticket, right? Yeah, some people might want to put Joe Biden legacy on that election, on 2024 presidential election. They might want to like put it on Joe Biden legacy that they are on the same ticket. So she lost, Kamala Harris lost, but they forgot the fact that she came in less than how many months. You know what I mean? That's a different topic. That she lost. Yeah, but you have to complete the sentence that she came in less than how many months. Some were arguing that, oh, she has been the vice president. When was the last time the vice president are the one making the decision? Even J.D. Vance, when he was asked that all this thing that Donald Trump is proposing, what is his own take for it in it? And he said he is just the vice president. Donald Trump has to be the leader and he has to just listen and do whatever Donald Trump want him to do. I digress. But yeah, well, them I want to put this on Joe Biden, the lost for 2024 presidential election here. That was what Jessica Tarlov is trying to break down. But if y'all did not understand that more, let me play y'all the clip from Lawrence O'Donnell from MSNBC. Y'all know, give it to Lawrence O'Donnell from MSNBC. He is well respected. Excuse me. He is well respected when he speaks because he always come with fact. He just don't go there on MSNBC just to talk. Let's listen to Lawrence O'Donnell, then we are going to unpack it and finish our thought on the other side.
To nonpartisan scholarship. Our work is grounded in the proposition that sound policy starts with facts. Thoroughly analyzed, rigorously tested, and thoughtfully applied to the world's most complex challenges. Today we'll hear from a leader who exemplifies the Brookings mission. Over the course of his long career in Washington, President Biden has consistently shown his commitment to evidence-based policymaking. Evidence-based policymaking. Imagine that. That is a moment we will not see again over the next 4 years. The next president will never be introduced anywhere as someone committed to evidence-based policymaking. Those words are not used lightly at Brookings, where they would probably not be applied to many presidents. It wasn't Joe Biden's first time speaking to the scholars at Brookings. NBC's Mike Memoli reminded me today that 6 years ago, Joe Biden spoke at Brookings as a former senator and former vice president too, who was a year away from announcing his candidacy for president. Joe Biden described the policy failures of the Trump administration then and what he thought we should do about it.
So we have to deal with the tax code. It's wildly skewed toward taking care of those at the very top. It overwhelmingly favors investors over workers. And it's riddled with unproductive expenditures. Look what's happened, the latest tax cut. Once again, those at the very top get the biggest breaks. And what do we have to show for it? Second, we've got to educate our people. We found that by the end of this decade, 6 in 10 jobs are going to need some training, some education beyond high school, or you're not going to make it. College, community college, they should be free, in my view. I believe every state university should be free. We can afford it. The third thing we've got to do is we have to empower workers. We've got to rebuild this nation's infrastructure. Look, we need roads, we need waterways, we need ports to move our products, we need highways and transit to get workers to and from work. We need lightning fast broadband to communicate. It's not a luxury, it's an absolute necessity to compete with the rest of the world. We need a massive investment in infrastructure, roads, bridges, airports, broadband. We've been lagging behind for too many years now, and we can afford it.
And entering the presidency on the verge of a possible economic depression worldwide because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting supply chain disruptions around the world that increased inflation worldwide, President Biden never lost sight of the policy goals that he announced that day at Brookings in 2018.
We delivered immediate economic relief to those most in need. We got back to full employment, got inflation back down, managed a soft landing that most people thought was not very much likely to happen. Today, here at Brookings Institution, I'd like to talk about pivotal actions we've taken to rebuild the economy for the long haul.
Today, the president laid out a legacy that the Washington press corps might be inclined to forget in the coming years, when Donald Trump will eagerly and falsely be taking credit for computer chip factories opening and jobs being created thanks to the policy achievements of President Biden and the Democrats in Congress that will be paying huge economic dividends for decades to come, and in some of the infrastructure projects for the next 100 years.
Most economists agree the new administration is going to inherit a fairly strong economy, at least at the moment. An economy going through fundamental transformation that's laid out a stronger foundation and sustainable, broad-based, highly productive growth. Over 16 million new jobs, the most in any single presidential term in American history. The lowest average unemployment rate of any administration in the last 50 years. 20 million applications for new business records. It's for new business, that is a record, I should say. Stock market hits record highs. After decades of sending jobs overseas, cheapest labor possible, companies are coming back to America, investing and building here and creating jobs here in America, in my view, where they belong. We acted quickly to get inflation down with the help of Republicans and Democrats. Inflation came down to pre-pandemic levels. Wages have increased, but still too many working and middle-class families struggle with high prices for housing and groceries and the daily needs of life. At the same time as inflation and interest rates continue to fall, we've entered a new phase of our economic resurgence.
The first tunnel under the Hudson River connecting Manhattan with New Jersey is 97 years old. And everyone driving through that tunnel right now tonight, the Holland Tunnel, at this very moment, just takes that tunnel for granted. It's been a permanent fact of their lives. And they should take it for granted. They have a right to take it for granted. But a new tunnel is going to be built under the Hudson River, connecting Manhattan and New Jersey, thanks to the Biden infrastructure bill. By the time that tunnel is actually finished and operational, Joe Biden and Donald Trump will no longer be in politics. But for the next 100 years, at least, we will have Joe Biden to thank for that tunnel. But that tunnel and the rest of Joe Biden's legacy probably won't have Joe Biden's name on it. President Biden reminded us today of the difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden on infrastructure.
We had infrastructure week for 4 years and nothing got built. Well, everybody said when I wanted to have an infrastructure bill that mattered, over $1.3 billion, we'd never get it done. We got it done.
I was one of the people who did not expect Joe Biden to get it done because he was working with the smallest margin a president's party has ever had in the United States Senate. But it turns out his 36 years of experience in the Senate mattered a lot in pulling off those legislative miracles that delivered on the Biden agenda.
The United States invented these computer chips, but over time we stopped making them. In the very beginning, we produced 40% of them in the world. Well, they all went overseas almost, virtually all. So when the pandemic hit, we found out how vulnerable America was. Supply chains abroad got shut down. In the Far East because people got sick. The factories making the chips closed. And all of a sudden, everybody started learning about supply chains, a phrase that was probably used more in the last 4 years than the last 40 years. No, I'm serious. Couldn't get these chips. Prices soared. For example, it takes over 3,000 chips to build an American automobile, 3,000. But when the overseas factories making those chips shut down, the production stopped, and the cost of new cars soared.
President Biden and the Democrats in Congress delivered financial support to Americans struggling during COVID. But he pointed out today that there was a big difference between the checks for COVID relief that the Trump administration sent to people and the checks the Biden administration sent.
Within the first 2 months of office, I signed the American Rescue Plan, the most significant economic recovery package in our history. And I also learned something from Donald Trump. He signed checks for people for $7,400 because we passed the plan. And I didn't. Stupid.
It wasn't stupid. It was decency. Joe Biden thought Americans would appreciate a president, a person whose modesty and respect for the standard process would not allow him to ask people for political credit when sending them financial help that he believed they needed and deserved. In fact, Donald Trump is the only president in history who would exploit the delivery of government benefits that way by actually putting his name on them. President Biden described how his Chips and Science Act is bringing the manufacture of computer chips back to this country with new factory jobs that have average salaries of $102,000 a year.
We knew in the beginning this wasn't going to come to fruition in my campaign, my administration. It takes time to get this done. But watch 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 years from now. We'll soon be the only economy in the world to have all 5 of the major chip companies operating in the United States of America. It's not only creating thousands, it will create thousands of jobs and good paying jobs, building a chip factory. We're always creating those jobs for workers installing more solar panels, batteries, selling more electric vehicles than ever before. You know, that's a construction boom and manufacturing boom all across America.
You can be guaranteed that Donald Trump and Republicans will try to take credit for that manufacturing boom over the next 4 years, the Biden boom. President Biden warned correctly that Donald Trump's threatened tariffs will increase inflation, even though Donald Trump tried to deny that in a recent interview.
Now inflation is coming down faster than almost anywhere in the world in advanced economies. As inflation eased and the strong labor market persisted, inflation-adjusted wages and incomes began to rise. Average after-tax income is up almost $4,000 than prices on average for average Americans.
President Biden pointed out that the unemployment rate during his administration is the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years.
From the crisis we inherited, we not only beat the pandemic, we broke from the economic orthodoxy that has failed this nation, in my view, for a long time, a theory that led to fewer jobs, less economic growth, and bigger deficits. I had a fundamentally different theory. My theory was the strongest economy is built from the bottom up and the middle out, from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down.
Yes, my friends, y'all heard how Lawrence O'Donnell laid all out and how he is playing it from Joe Biden himself. You know what I mean? When they now say legacy, it now depends on how you or how everybody, let's say that, how everybody interpret it. You know what I mean? Some might interpret it just based on 2024 presidential election here, and they might count that as a failure to President Joe Biden. And some might interpret it as Lawrence O'Donnell, as he laid out that the American people might not see what Joe Biden has done right now, according to what he said. There's a bridge that has been used for over 50 years, and guess what? People are using it, but because one administration did it back then. So whatever Joe Biden is doing right now, the American people might not see it. Even Joe Biden accepted that they knew that what he is putting in place, the American people might not experience it under his administration. But yo, my friends, how do you guys see Joe Biden legacy? You know what I mean? We are going to have different interpretations to situations. That was why I say I love to watch D5 on Fox News, because they bring Jessica Tarlov on. So all of them not just going to be saying the same thing. You know what I mean? So I believe on this same Joe Biden legacy, we are going to interpret it differently. Let's continue the conversation down there in the comment section. And I know that the president-elect Donald Trump, I believe he knows that his legacy as well is on the line. And he has been given the second opportunity, you know what I mean, to rewrite what people might have thought about what he has said. You know what I mean? So until then, we ain't going to talk about his legacy yet because now he's going back to the office. But presently, right now, how do you see Joe Biden legacy? Let's continue the conversation down there in the comment section. As usual, please, let's respect ourselves while we comment. If you like videos like this, please do not forget to smash that like button and subscribe. And thank you. Bye for now.